ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 31, Lord Kapila's instructions on the movement of living entities. So, Udit Krishna Prabhu, yesterday we covered till what point?
Till 9 provision. 9th
9. Okay. So, we'll continue with the text 10. So, here, just to briefly revise, bitten again and again all over the body by the hungry worms in the abdomen itself, the child suffers terrible agony because of his tenderness. Right? The child is very, very tender and is also bitten by. Now, this is a different perspective altogether, right? So, we have to understand things from a perspective. This is very, very important. Something, like different people will see same thing differently. And one classical example we have seen is when Krishna and Balaram, they come to the Rangamanch. All different personalities, they are seeing them differently. So we have to know which perspective one is taking. Now, this is the perspective of the child within the womb. That is the perspective, right? So nothing is to be taken out of context and without perspective. This is very important thing. Otherwise, marriage is very sacred. Pregnancy within the marriage is very sacred. Motherhood is very, very sacred. So there is nothing to demine or undermine those important things. But the point is, here the perspective is different, right? Owing to mothers eating bitter, pungent foodstuffs or a food which is too salty or too sour, the body of the child incessantly suffers pains which are almost intolerable. Placed within the amnion and covered outside by intestine, the child remains lying within one side of the abdomen, his head turned towards his belly, and his back and neck arc like a bow. The child thus remains just like a bird in the cage, without freedom of movement. At that time, if a child is fortunate, he can remember all the troubles of his past 100 births. Okay, look at the important thing, past 100 births, and he grieves wretchfully. What is the possibility of peace of mind in such a condition? Just give me a minute. So this is the condition of living entity in the womb. And now we come to text 10, right? Please use rear seat belt for your safety. So we are coming to text 10 now. आरंभ सप्तमान मासात् लब्धबोधोऽपि वेपितः नैकस्तात्रे श्रुतिर्वातैः विष्टाभु इव सोदरः. Translation.
Thus endowed with the development of consciousness from the 7th month after his conception, the child is tossed downward by the airs that press the embryo during the weeks preceding delivery. Like the worms born of the same filthy abdominal cavity, he cannot remain in one place. Purport. At the end of the 7th month, the child is moved by the bodily air and does not remain in the same place, for the entire uterine system becomes slackened before delivery. The worms have been described here as Sodara. Sodara means born of the same mother. Since the child is born from the womb of the mother and the worms are also born of fermentation within the womb of the same mother, under the circumstances, the child and the worms are actually brothers. We are very anxious to establish universal brotherhood among human beings, but we should take into consideration that even the worms are our brothers, that to speak of other living entities. Therefore, we should be concerned about all living entities. Hare Krishna.
So this is the condition of the child in the 7th month after the conception. The child is tossed downwards with the airs, right? So this air, they are, the different pancha prana, the different types of the airs are being mentioned. And Ayurvedic texts very elaborately describe which air is going to act in which way. And then he is there in that filthy abdominal cavity. Again, the perspective here is completely different, and that's why the language and description. But from the child's perspective, one who is living there for 9 months, okay, it's quite troublesome. He cannot remain in one place, as he is also. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the living entities, the other worms, are also called as Sodara. Sodara means literally coming from the same udara, same womb, and that is this coming from the same udara. And Prabhupada says here, this establishes the universal brotherhood. So people are very anxious to have universal brotherhood, but universal brotherhood is possible only when one accepts, that the Sodara, that everybody is ultimately coming from the universal Father, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Aham Bija Pradapita. Now, Bhagavatam is so delicate, Prabhupada says, here we are talking about the worms being Sodara. Worms are explained as Sodara. What to speak of the other living entities, and what to speak of killing them for one's pleasure of one's tongue, right? So this is how they are called as Sodara. Text 11. Nathamana ऋषिर्भीतः सप्तपदिकृताञ्चलवया वाचा येनोदरर्पितः ऋषिर्भीतः सप्तपदिकृताञ्चलवया वाचा येनोदरर्पितः. Translation.
Translation. The living entity in this frightful condition of life, bound by 7 layers of material ingredients, prays with folded hands, appealing to the Lord who has put him in that condition. Purport. It is said that when a woman is having labor pains, she promises that she will never again become pregnant and suffer from such a severely painful condition. Similarly, when one is undergoing some surgical operation, he promises that he will never again act in such a way as to become diseased and have to undergo medical surgery. Or when one falls into danger, he promises that he will never again make the same mistake. Similarly, the living entity, when put into a hellish condition of life, prays to the Lord that he will never again commit sinful activities and have to be put into the womb for repeated birth and death. In the hellish condition within the womb, the living entity is very much afraid of being born again But when he is out of the womb, when he is in full life and good health, he forgets everything and commits again and again the same sins for which he was put into that horrible condition of existence. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. In that frightful condition, the living entity prays to the Supreme Lord, Kritanjali, with folded hands. So now look at this. So natural for the living entity to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Now, who is there in the womb to teach the baby, which is like 7 months old, that now you should fold your hands and now you should pray? No, the baby will fold hands and baby will pray, just like the fish will naturally take shelter of ocean. Right. As soon as the fish is born, you don't have to, mother fish is not conducting some swimming class for the child. Naturally, the baby fish will take shelter of the ocean. Similarly, the swabhava of living entity is to take shelter of Supreme Lord. So when the living entity is in such a frightful condition, naturally the living entity, what will happen is that the living entity will fold the hands and pray to the Supreme Lord. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that a woman having labor pain promises that she will never become pregnant again, as the condition is severely painful. What the point here is that in pain, it is very natural to pray to the Supreme Lord and pray to the Supreme Lord saying that, Baba, fir se, I will never do this again. Of course, this is not to, again, none of the paragraph, none of the statements here should be taken out of context or, the out of perspective, right? So, in fact, in ISKCON, whenever we give, programs to the youth, we tell them very clearly after marriage, you should have as many people children and as early as age. And let me get stabilized, let me complete my education. All those mistakes we have done, you don't have to do that, right? Learn from our mistakes and move on in the life. So multiple children is very, very recommended, highly recommended. At the same time, here the perspective is different. Perspective is just like the lady, she's going through the labor pain, which is at times compared to the real death pain, because birth and death almost have similar kind of a pain. She will say, Baba, never, I will not do this one any time again. Similarly, why that example is given, experience this. Okay. From known, we are seeing unknown. So, similarly, the living entity in the womb is praying to the Supreme Lord that I have performed enough sinful activities. I have suffered for my sinful activities. Now, no sin more, my dear Lord. Please get me out of this position and let me become your devotee. Caveat is, if the soul is fortunate enough. If the soul is fortunate, then only within the womb the soul will pray. Not all souls will pray also. Previous verse has talked about the soul being fortunate. Right? And this is how the living entity prays to the Supreme Lord. Text 12. Janturuvacha. So Jantu here is the living entity, because he is with other Jantu. So he is also being referred here as Jantu. Okay. So Jantu matlab jeev here. Jantu doesn't mean that Krumi, and by the way, Krumi are also the soul. So here Janturuvacha. Janturuvacha tasya upasannam avitum jagadiyachayat Nanatano Vivar Chalat Charanarabindam Soham Rajami Sharanam Yakuto Abhayam me Yene Trishir Gatir Drarsho Asato me Anurupa. Translation.
The human soul says, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only because he can give me relief from all fear, and from him I have received this condition of life, which is just befitting my impious activities. But the word Achala Charanara Vindam refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who actually walks or travels upon the surface of the world. For example, Lord Ramchandra actually walked on the surface of the world, and Lord Krishna also walked just like an ordinary man. The prayer is therefore offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends to the surface of this earth or any part of this universe for the protection of the pious and the destruction of the impious. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that when there is an increase of irreligion and discrepancies arise in the real religious activities, the Supreme Lord comes to protect the pious and kill the impious. This verse indicates Lord Krishna. Another significant point in this verse is that the Lord comes, Ichchaya, by his own will, as Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Sambhavami Atma Māyā. I appear at my will by my internal potency. He is not forced to come by the laws of material nature. It is stated here, Ichchaya. He does not assume any form as the impersonalists think because he comes at his own will, and the form in which he descends is his eternal form. As the Supreme Lord puts the living entity into the condition of horrible existence, he can also deliver him, and therefore one should seek shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna demands, "Give up everything and surrender unto me." And it is also said in Bhagavad Gita that anyone who approaches him does not come back again to accept a form in material existence, but goes back to Godhead, back home, never to return.
Janturuvacha, the human soul says. Now, this prerogative of the soul praying to the Supreme Lord is possible only in the human form of life. And that's why here it mentioned as the human soul says. Other species, the soul is there and soul is also going through the equal amount or more greater amount of inconvenience, but the consciousness is not evolved, and therefore there is no chance of prayer there. And therefore here it is, human soul says. I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears on the various forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only that he can give relief from all fear, because he is fearful. Therefore, the soul is praying for the fear, to be removal of the fear. From him, I have received this condition of life, and the soul is also grateful, which is just befitting to my impious activities. So the soul is saying, whatever condition of life, my dear Lord, you have put me in, this is because of my own impious activities, and I accept these conditions, and I take shelter of you so that I can be freed from all the fear. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, Chalat Charanaravinda. Jantu is using very beautiful word. Chalat Charanaravinda means the personality of Godhead who walks or travels on the earth. Charanaravinda is the Supreme Lord, but this Charanaravinda, they are not sthira, they are chala, because the Lord is walking on the surface. Srila Prabhupada says that the many incarnations, they have walked on the surface of the earth. Like Lord Ramachandra walked. Lord Ramachandra walked from Ayodhya to Nasik, from Nasik to, practically to Sri Lanka, Ceylon, and then came back and everything. So Lord Rama walked on this earth. Lord Krishna walked on the earth. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, they walked on the earth. And therefore, later we will study when there is a departure of the Supreme Lord, Bhumi is lamenting. So Bhumi Devi there says that, generally when Lord Krishna used to go from Dwaraka to Hastinapur, the Dwarkavasis were in great anxiety that, Krishna is going from us. And Hastinapur Vasis, they were in, the Pandava Nivasis, they were very happy that Krishna is coming to us. But, the Dharani Mata, she says, but for me, Krishna was just from one place to another, and Krishna was always with me. But now when Krishna departs, she is lamenting that now the same Supreme Lord will be no more with me. Srila Prabhupada says this means that the impersonalist understanding that the Lord assumes a form is not true. No, Lord has a form, that form is eternal, and he is ever existing. Lord descends in the form, which he particularly already has, walks on the earth, performs the pastime, and again, departs to the spiritual world. So this impersonalistic idea that the Lord assumes the form, he is formless, nirakar, unko na to haath hai, na to pair hai, he doesn't have eyes. This is all being defeated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Very clearly, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam talks about why Lord comes. So here the Jantu is saying, my dear Lord, you come for paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam. And this is the specific declaration by Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada says, actually, the Jantu is praying to Supreme Lord Krishna. This indicates Lord Krishna here. Another significant point is, Lord comes by his own ichchaya. The appearance of the Lord and the appearance of the Jantu or the living entity, they are on different levels. Mayavadi philosopher says, see, one Brahman is praying to another Brahman. Yeah, it is true. Jiva is also Brahman and the Supreme Lord is Parabrahman. But both of their condition, the Jantu going through all the tribulations is not Leela of the Jantu, but it is forced upon the Jantu by Karmana Daivanetrena Jantur Dehopapadyate. Right? So when the living entity is praying to the Supreme Lord, and the Lord is also hearing those prayers, the Lord appears by his own sweet will, by his own ichchaya. Bhagavad Gita says, Sambhavami Atma māyā. It is not because of karmana daivanetrena. It is not because of the actions of papa and punya, or this is not because of the Lord is also bound by the rules of niti aniti, papa punya, sukha dukkha, so on and so forth. No, the Supreme Lord is completely transcendental. What to speak of this? Prabhupada says that the Lord comes and gives assurance to living entity that he will surely deliver him. What the Lord demands? Lord demands complete sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. That do not fear of even your sinful activities. I will take care of your sins. Just surrender unto me. This is the demand of the Lord. And when one approaches to the Supreme Lord, then he meets, the complete auspiciousness where he will be sent back home, back to Godhead. Yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. So this is the prayer of Jantu, the living entity in the womb. And I am also. So we will close early today. Is there any question? I can pick up the question. Otherwise, we'll conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you,
We have
Prabhuji.
also started something in the YouTube channel, which is called as Tatparya Amrit Bindu tab. So Tatparya Amrit Bindu stands for the nectarian point that Srila Prabhupada makes in the Tatparya, the Amrita Bindu from that particular Tatparya. So we will be, every time when we read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, so many wonderful purports we come across. Radhesham Prabhu used to calls this as golden purports, golden lines, Radhesham Prabhu's remarks. Golden lines, golden purports. So certain such golden lines and golden purports we will be picking up sequentially. We are starting with third canto. And, very wonderfully, some devotees are extending for that. We have Ananchit Prabhu who is doing the editing and everything of those short 1 minute videos. These are 1 minute videos. Nowadays people, you are very gracious and that you spare 30 minutes a day in the morning. But people in general have no time. So we thought that at least we can have this 1 minute thing coming in the lives of people. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1 minute and especially golden purports. So His Grace Ananchit Prabhu, he has volunteered for editing of the videos, and this is literally a daily editing. So I'm really concerned about his time, and we are trying to set up certain systems so that his time also is not taken much. And we have Tapan Prabhu, Harsha Mataji, Parijat Leela Mataji, they are part of this, and couple more devotees are also joining. So requesting all the devotees to pray for this initiative, bless this initiative also, that we continue with this daily one video. This will be, which is like golden purports of Srila Prabhupada. Tatparya, Amrita is the the nectarian point. Bindu because same Tatparya when we will read again, again say now this one reading of Bhagavatam will take around 8 years. And then when again we'll continue with Canto 1, after 8 years, we will be again on Canto 3. We will have some different sets of realization because, it is like Navanava Rasa. Bhagavatam is not different than Krishna. And, so therefore we are talking only about Bindu, that we cannot capture even the full purport of Srila Prabhupada. We can capture some Bindu from that. So that's why the name is Tatparya Amrit Bindu. Right. So this also will be coming across. And we beg for the mercy of the devotees that this initiative continues, and generally what we start by Lord's grace, it continues, so that we consistently do it over the period of years and years. Yeah, so do visit those videos time to time. It's just less than a minute, around 1 minute. Those videos will be Tatparya Amrit Bindu. They are under the same YouTube channel. Under shorts they will be there. Okay, under videos we have our daily recordings, daily readings. And under the reels, under shorts or reels, these will be there on the same YouTube channel. Okay. Same thing later we will post on some other social media platform as well. Yeah. So any discussion, any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, will be seen here in this daily verses, or we have to see in other channel, Prabhu? This one, what do you say that? Golden.
No, same channel it is. Only thing is that different tab it will be. Tab, different. It will be just under different this thing.
Will you post Prabhuji in this group or chat me, or how
No,
to go?
we
Don't know.
will
That
not
sport
post
also don't
in
know.
the group. We will not
Yes.
post in the group because it will take unnecessary, because every day it will be like 10 MB. So it will be available only on the channel. We don't want to populate the timeline of the devotees with too many messages.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very good idea, Prabhuji. Hari.
Prabhuji, has it already started or you're going to start?
It started yesterday.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So around every day, something around, we are yet to decide the time, what time but around 8 o'clock in the evening, we will be posting it. So Tapan Prabhu is working on that, streamlining that posting. We are also working on some buffer stock, buffer videos, because somebody is busy, that continuation should not be lost. So it has started yesterday on the auspicious occasion of Balram Jayanti.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Prabhuji, how to see Prabhuji there in that YouTube? It is already posted, means we can watch it, no Prabhu?
You have to visit the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel name is Sport Daily Readings. Sport
Daily
is
read.
Srila Prabhupada. Daily Sport, SPORT, Daily Readings.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there only, and after videos, you will see that, shorts or reels tab. There you have to click, and there you will see all these videos one after another.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.